There's a problem with setting goals. Let me tell you why and how to fix that. Trying to lose weight is difficult, man. Common statements you hear about people trying to lose weight are along the lines of, or I'll lose 10 kg in 3 months, or this year I'm going to shred off this belly fat. I'll have a 6-pack in 6 months. The goals sound very reasonable, and they are. So saying you'll lose 10 kg in 3 months meets the SMART criteria. It's specific and measurable, that is, lose 10 kg of weight, and it's quite achievable as well. So if you're going to lose 10 kg in 12 weeks, that means you have to aim to lose about just under a kilogram each week. And that's pretty reasonable with a bit of work. And it's also time-based. So yeah, all the SMART criteria. Let's say it all goes well and you lose the weight in 12 weeks as planned. What do you think will happen to your motivation after that? Do you think you'll really want to sustain the lifestyle of eating rabbit food and training intensely after you've reached your goal? Unfortunately, what tends to happen with a lot of us is that we will stay motivated while we work towards the goal. But once we achieve that goal we set, then there's nothing more to look forward to. And so that motivation wanes. There's clearly a better approach to goals, I think. So let's talk about the problem with setting goals, because the first one of these problems is that most goals we set rely on motivation. I've listened to a number of interviews of former US SEALs, the likes of Jocko Willink and David Goggins. If you don't know much about US SEALs, in a nutshell, they go through intense physical training to qualify for being SEALs. And their job is to go on potentially life-threatening military missions. Having listened to these guys, they all seem to say the same thing about motivation, that motivation comes and goes. These are guys who've had to be disciplined to pass a Navy SEAL training instead of waiting to feel motivated. And also, while they're out in the field, they have to be able to survive during life-threatening missions. So they can't really rely on motivation, because what happens then on days they aren't motivated? So motivation won't cut it if you're working on long-term goals. That's how motivation is. You could be motivated to wash up the dishes this very minute in the short term, but there's no guarantee that tomorrow you'll be just as motivated. A better approach to use is to set systems, not goals. With a system in mind, you focus on that system, the process, instead of the goals. So for example, instead of constantly obsessing over losing 10 kg in 3 months, look at the process on how you'll do that. You have to eat healthier, you have to exercise regularly, and how will you do that? Focus on what you need to be doing right now. So for losing weight, again, focus on eating a healthy breakfast and exercising, and then a healthy lunch and so on. Focus on today's 1 mile run, and then when you feel ready, step it up to 2 miles, and the following week keep getting better. Even on the days you don't feel like running, the best win you can do for yourself is to put on your running shoes and run for only 5 minutes. The most important thing is that you showed up today. I think you're better off showing up every day for 6 days, doing a 10 minutes workout each time, than showing up for just 1 day and doing a 1 hour workout. What's important here is the process. The process is what's giving you the results. And again, don't rely on working out when you feel motivated, because some days, if not most, you won't be motivated. Another problem with goals is that they are rigid. In the Tim Ferriss show, there's an episode when Tim interviews Jason Fried, who's the founder of Basecamp. This is what Jason had to say about setting goals. Listen to this.
For me, I don't want to compare myself to an idea I had 2 years prior, of where I wanted to be. I don't know where I'm going to want to be in 2 years. So to set a goal that's long-term, in some cases, you're actually setting it for, who you are when you set it versus who you are when you're going to get there.
I've noticed what Jason is talking about in my own life. I've got a board where I write my goals, and I can't tell you the number of times I've reviewed my goals and found a lot of them to be obsolete a few months down the line. When you're setting goals, you've got a specific direction you want to take to achieve your goals, but life tends to want to take you in a different direction. And down the line, you may look back at those goals and you realize that you don't want that anymore. Also, when you're failing to achieve your goals, you get put off from pursuing them, right? Here's what Jason went on to say in the podcast. Listen to this.
When you set out these numbers and these goalposts and these goals and these expectations and you don't hit them, then you're upset. And once you've actually either hit them or not hit them, then you come up with another set, and you just keep moving these moments of possible joy, but most likely disappointment in a lot of cases.
So instead of getting upset when you don't meet your goals, wouldn't it be better to just focus on doing your best all the time? I personally find I'm happier by focusing on waking up early and doing those things that I set out to do the night before, which are reading, writing, exercising, and doing the best in my work. That's the system I've set up for myself. And I know the long-term benefits of sticking to the habits of doing that consistently. So here's what we've covered. We said goals rely on how motivated you are, but motivation doesn't last. It comes and it goes. So instead, focus on the process, the system that helps you achieve the goals. And we also spoke about how goals can be too rigid sometimes for our dynamic lives. So maybe you aim to do the best in everything you do all the time. Do you know what I'm going to say after all of that? You should still set goals, because I think they are quite important and very important, as a matter of fact, to success, whatever success is to you. They help you think about what it is that you want to do. And I suppose it's about how you approach the goal setting process. Start with setting a specific goal and make sure you write it down, because when you write it down, you can then revisit the goal later and notice how your mindset may have changed. When you review the goals later, they may seem too minuscule or too ambitious and possibly not even relevant at all at that time. And when you've written them down, break them down into chunks and write down how you'll attempt to achieve them. That's the process you want to follow. Now focus on that process and think about how it can be a part of your everyday life. I'll be happy to share practical ideas on how to do the things I've spoken about in this whole video in another video in the future, so do look out for that. I'll also leave links and information on some useful resources for this episode in the description below. Check it out. And while you're down there, remember to like, sub, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.